Writing has always been difficult, at times nearly impossible. Now, this quote from Hemingway is something anyone who has ever tried writing can relate to. One writer described writing as a voyage of discovery, while another likened it to simply stringing together words on paper. Creation always begins with a struggle, but if you want to write, it's something you have to start today. No, you have to start right now. There are people who endure the weight of creativity and still manage to write a single sentence today. Hello, this is Culture Crunch's DJ Joel, and on today's Workie Talkie, we've invited someone who creates narratives for musicals. But before we meet her, we are going to take a listen to a song. This is 글 or Letter by Kim Yeol.
당신이 내 깊이를 아십니까? 나의 상처에 숨어오는 이를 봤습니까? 몇 번을 물어도 그댄 항상 왜 답이 없나 나로 우리 약속을 아십니까? 덧없는 미소 지으며 맞잡았던 그 온기를 지키지 못한 것 마음만이 아니었음을 나의 시간과 당신의 형태 전부 사라졌음을 당신은 다 알고도 가셨네요.
Discover the world of K-jobs on Workie Talkie. Now, each month we're going to choose a new theme and we're going to invite guests to find out everything there is to know about their job and their field. Now, the theme for June is K-musical. Yes, and around the world, K-musicals have been making a huge splash as part of the Korean wave. So we have invited a guest, Park Hae-rim, who fills the stage with narratives. And it is very nice to have you in the studio. 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다.
안녕하세요. 초대해 주셔서 감사합니다. 박혜림입니다.
네네네. 반갑습니다. Please, I do want to thank you so much for coming. 오늘 나와주셔서 너무 감사합니다. So, of course, we are going to get into Hae-rim's job as we continue on here going forward. So, here on Workie Talkie, we do have a special little mini segment where we have you fill in your resume and we take a look at your job. So, 저희 Workie Talkie에서 미니 세그먼트 직접 쓰는 이력서라는 세그먼트 있는데요. 이력서 한번 같이 볼까요? Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so you have expertly filled out your resume here. So I want to ask, first of all, what you wrote here in your job line. Like, what exactly does your job entail? So 직업란에 뭐라고 적어주신 건지 한번 설명해 주세요.
네, 뮤지컬 작가입니다.
Okay, so Haerim did say she is a musical writer. So now there's a lot of things, of course, that I'm very curious about when it comes to musical writer. So this is, of course, saying you write the story and the lines for a musical. So is it considered a job that's maybe like, if you were to simplify it, a script maker? 그 흔히 말하는 대본을 만드는 직업인 거죠?
네, 무대에 적합한
예.
그 대본과 가사까지를 포함해서 대본을 쓰고 있습니다.
Okay, so Haerim said that when it comes to a musical writer, that you actually are in charge of multiple things than just the lines of the musical, but also the lyrics of songs as well. So you get the script and the lines as well. So, you know, what's really fascinating about musicals is that I've always sort of wondered what comes first? Do you write the script first and then the music? Or like, is there a particular way that you have to write these stuff? So 작업에 정해진 순서나 방식이 있나요?
보통은 제가 먼저 이야기를 엮어내고 그리고 작곡가랑 같이 이제 음악이 들어갈 자리를 먼저 설정을 한 뒤에 대본을 쓰게 됩니다. 이제 그게 이제 저희를 1차 창작진이라고 말을 하거든요. 작가 작곡가가 대본을 다 쓰고 나면
네.
이제 프로듀서나 연출이나 뭐 안무 이런 사람들이 모여서 무대를 할 계획을 세우게 되죠.
Oh, okay. All right. So, Haerim is saying that when it comes to a musical writer, you of course have many different things that you have to juggle, but you come up with the ideas yourself, and then from there you start working with the people that are in charge of the music as well, and from there you kind of go on into forming, you know, the stage direction and these sort of things, so that you finally end up with a really perfect product at the very end. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at your resume here so we can see some more information about you. How long has it been since you've started as a musical playwright? So 뮤지컬 작가를 시작하신 지 얼마나 됐나요?
2016년에 시작해서 사실은 내년이 되면 이제 10년이 되는 거고요.
Oh, okay. So it's been quite a while. 좀 됐네요. 그렇죠? Okay, so Haerim did say as a playwright that you have worked in the field for about 10 years now, and I think during these 10 years there must have been tons and tons of experiences to be had, as well as many different performances and productions that we are ready to talk about. That being said, you did bring us two primary works, and I did want to quickly take a look at your first primary work. 첫 번째로 꼽아주신 작품 어떤 작품인지 한번 설명해 주세요.
나와 나타샤와 흰 당나귀라는 작품이고요. 2016년에 발표했습니다.
Oh, okay. So Haerim said that the name is very interesting. 나와 나타샤와 흰 당나귀, which is translates to me and Natasha and the white donkey. So that is a very interesting name, very unique indeed. The title of the poem is a poem by the legendary Korean poet Baeksuk, right? So I kind of want to know where your mind was and where you went in the creative process and what kind of story this is. So 어떤 이야기인지 한번 설명해 주세요.
이 시는 그러니까 시를 모티브로 한 작품이고요.
네.
1930년대는 사실 한국이 되게 슬픈
그쵸.
내재적인 슬픔이 있던
네네.
시기였고 그때
예.
이제 문학 작품들이 좀 활발하게 발표가 되는데
네.
그때 이제 시인들의 시인이라고 불리우는
네.
이 백석이라는 시인과
예.
그리고 그의 연인 자야라는 여자의 만남과 이별 그리고 뭐 긴 그리움을 이야기하는 작품입니다.
Ah, okay. So that is very interesting. So Haerim said that, of course, the time of Baeksuk, who, he was alive many years ago, but at the time where he was writing and stuff in Korean history is not the happiest of times back then, of course. So this is kind of wanted to bring a little bit of some levity to the aspect of history, and that it talks about Baeksuk and Jaya, who lived a long life longing for the love and the poetry of Baeksuk. So it kind of brings, like I said, levity to your creation in general, and also to Korean culture and history also. So usually with someone as famous as Baeksuk, right, who is a very famous poet here in Korea, he would be the main character, you would think. But in your play, Jaya is the main character. So I'm wondering why that is. 자야를 주인공으로 삼으신 이유가 따로 있을까요?
이 나와 나타샤와 흰 당나귀라는 시는 원래 한국에서 되게 유명했는데도 불구하고 백석은 1950년대에 월북을 하게 돼요. 그래서 실제로 알려진 정보가 거의 없는 데다가 어떤 시기에는 그 시가 좀 금기시가 됐거든요. 근데 이게 굉장히 낭만적인 시임에도 불구하고 그래서 그때 이제 자야 김영한이라는 선생님이 이제 그 백석의 시를 가지고 이제 본인이 나타샤다라고 이제 주장하시면서 백석이라는 시인에 대해서 이렇게 많이 홍보를 하셨던 것 같아요. 그래서 실제로 그녀가 있었던 그 집을 길상사라고 성북동에 있는 길상사를 이제 시주하면서 이제 이게 세상에 좀 많이 밝혀졌는데 그때 그녀가 이렇게 긴 시간 어떤 그리움을 가지고 기다렸을까 이런 것들을 좀 복원해주고 싶은 마음이 있어서 네 그녀를 주인공으로 백석을 좀 되살려 보고자 그런 이야기를 좀 만들어봤습니다.
Okay. So, wow, that is very meaningful, though, in that sense, because Haerim is, of course, saying that, because of the turbulent times at the time with Baeksuk, and leaving Korea and all of that, it was very hard to, find reference and creative works from him and reference them. And people are not so familiar with it these days. But with the story that you gathered here and brought and created the story with, you kind of wanted to go for Jaya and what she was feeling at the time. You really wanted to encompass, the feeling of missing someone, of the feeling of love, and encompass all of that within poetry. So that kind of is why you went for Jaya as opposed to Baeksuk in the story. So what's really interesting, though, here is that this work is an original musical. So you must have done almost everything that you have to do, so including the direction, the script, and the lyrics. Now, I'm wondering if all of that was done by you. So 연출, 극본, 가사를 모두 작가님이 하셨나요?
네, 아마 마지막 시즌 연출은 제가 했고요. 처음에는 극본과 가사만 네, 참여하고 있습니다.
Okay, so Haerim said that for the last season of this particular work, you were in charge of the direction, but the script and lyrics from the get-go, you were always kind of in charge of that. So we were talking about Baeksuk a lot, and I wanted to ask, are the lyrics taken from Baeksuk's poetry directly? And you adapted it for this work. 가사도 백석 시에 가져오신 건가요?
네, 전부 가져왔고요. 백석 시 35편 정도를 가지고 이제 뮤지컬 가사를 만들었는데 사실 뮤지컬 가사는 일반 다른 가사랑 좀 다르게 가사 안에 이제 사건이 좀 녹아들어야 돼요. 근데 시는 그렇지 않잖아요. 그래서 여러 시들을 좀 모아서 좀 편집도 하고 그다음에 반복시켜서 음율도 만들고 그렇게 해서 가사를 만들었습니다.
Okay. Wow. So the creative process, Haerim is saying, with something like this, is that you took, various poems from Baeksuk and you kind of melded them together and you added certain other things, particularly in the music, to make it all meld together very well. Now, working with someone but working under the image, using the likeness of Baeksuk in your work, he is very legendary. And I'd imagine that, working in that capacity must have been burdensome at some point. 좀 부담되지 않으셨나요?
처음에는 사실 공연을 생각하고 쓴 대본은 아니어서 대단히 부담스럽진 않았는데 이제 점차 이제 공연이 코앞에 다가오니까 내가 너무 그 이름에 누를 끼치는 것이 아닌가 하고 좀 이렇게 기도도 많이 했던 것 같아요.
Okay. So what Harim said was that while creating the project, initially it wasn't something that was particularly burdensome, but as the show date got closer and closer, the weight of Baeksuk's name and his legacy kind of weighed down a little bit. So you started to feel some pressure, and you also, of course, did pray a lot as well. So you actually received an award even though this was your debut performance. So 이 작품 데뷔작인데도 뭐 상까지 받으셨다고 들었는데요.
이 작품이 발표되고 나서 뭐 작품상, 극본상 뭐 이런 상들을 수상을 했고 2019년에는 차범석 희곡상을 받았습니다.
Oh, wow. Okay. So in 2017 and 2019, you were awarded playwriting and script awards. So I'd imagine that you probably felt really blessed because it was your first, from what I understand, your first production.
처음에는 좀 이렇게 당황스러웠는데 일단은 계속 뮤지컬을 쓰라는 어떤 계시처럼 느껴지기도 했고 이렇게 조용한 작품이
네.
또 많은 사람들에게 울림을 줄 수 있구나라는 것에서 좀 감사함을 많이 느꼈죠.
Okay. So Harim did say that, of course, she was very shocked at first because this was such a small little project that you had going, but suddenly so many people were so interested in it, and that the reaction was so explosive, and that you're extremely, grateful to everybody for their love and support. Okay. So we're starting off very big right now. 좀 이 인터뷰들도 되게 크게 시작하잖아요. 왜냐면 이미 상 받으셨으니까. But I do want to look forward to your next primary work that you brought for us. So 이력서에 적어주신 두 번째 대표 작품은 어떤 작품인지 너무 궁금하네요. 한번 설명해 주세요.
두 번째 작품은 바로 그 다음 작품이기도 한데요. 전설의 리틀 농구단이라는 작품입니다.
Okay, so yes, Harim said that the next primary work is the Little Basketball. Yeah, so it's basically a play about, from what I can tell here, looking at the poster, basketball, legendary Little Basketball team. So please explain a little bit about this because the atmosphere seems to be very, very, very different than the last project that you mentioned. 어떤 작품인지 한번 소개 부탁드릴게요.
혼자서 이제 왕따였던 외톨이였던 한 수연이라는
네.
그 고등학생 아이가 자살 시도를 실패하면서 학교에 떠도는 이제 귀신들을 보게 돼요. 그래서 이 귀신들의 성부를 도와주기 위해서 또 그들이 너의 인생을 좀 바꿔준다라고 이런 서로 약속을 하게 돼서 이제 폐지 직전에 어떤
네.
구청 농구단에 들어가게 되면서 벌어진 이야기입니다.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's very, very unique. Yeah, Harim is saying, so the story is about a kind of a loner in school named Suyan who kind of gets linked up with ghosts who will change his life for him. And this was right before the basketball club or league that he was in, was kind of about to break apart. And then he ended up joining a basketball team, and kind of it's a story about his journey through all of that. So, like I said, it's very unique. It's a very unique concept to take, especially for a musical. 되게 특이한 컨셉이라고 생각하거든요. 근데 농구 그리고 청소년을 소재로 쓴 이유가 따로 있나요? Was there a reason why you decided to use youth and basketball in this particular musical?
제가 청소년 시기에 농구를 좀 좋아했던 것 같고요. 농구를
그래요?
보는 걸, 관람을 좋아했고 당시에 사실 국가적인 슬픔이 좀 있었을 때였어요. 그래서 그때 우리 다 사랑하는 사람을 잃은 기억도 있고 가족이나 친구랑 멀어졌던 순간들도 있잖아요. 그래서 그 사람들에게 어떤 위로의 말을 할 수 있을까 그런 생각들을 하면서 썼던 작품입니다.
Okay. So Harim said that first of all, she always kind of enjoyed watching basketball. It was always kind of a fun activity for her. But when it comes to the topic of youth and the topic of remembrance, is that everybody in life, we all have moments where we feel distanced from other people or distanced from memories and that sort of thing. So you kind of took that and you were thinking about that while creating this musical. Now I have another question. You said that you really enjoy watching basketball, but do you enjoy playing basketball as well?
아니요. 전혀.
So she shot that question down very fast. She was like, no, not at all. So, I must say, basketball is a team sport. It's not a solo sport. It's a team sport. And that it's not a result, but it's a process, the whole concept of basketball. So is there anything in particular that you really wanted to convey to the audience? What do you hope that they could take away from this when watching this? So 작가님이 관객에게 전하고 싶었던 말 따로 있었나요?
일단 농구라는 장르를 통해서 이야기하고 싶었던 건 어찌됐든 인생은 또 혼자 살아가는 것이 아니고 같이 있을 때 의미가 생기는 것이다.
예.
근데 이제 그 함께 한다는 건 여러 가지 의미가 있을 수 있는데
그렇죠.
우리가 기억하는 것만으로도 함께 할 수 있다. 뭐 이런 이야기들을 하고 싶었던 것 같아요.
Okay. So Haerim said that the thing that you really wanted the audience to kind of look for or to take away in terms of messaging is that, you're not alone in life. Everything that you remember in life, a lot of it's going to be, with people. So the concept, the idea of togetherness and teamwork is also very important in life, so that you hope that while watching this, your audience can sort of take that away, the messaging. So this is really interesting. So given that it is a musical about basketball, you also play basketball and use basketball in the play as well. 실제 극 중에서 농구 경기도 하고 그리고 안무도 농구를 활용됐다고 들었는데요. Is that correct? 맞아요?
네, 실제로 농구 경기를 하는 장면이 총 3장면이 있어요.
아, 예.
네, 그게 뭐 이제 다양한 방식으로 농구 경기를 하는데
예.
이제 뭐 농구를 많이 활용해서 이제 하죠. 안무도 마찬가지고.
So Haerim said that there are 3 particular scenes in this musical where basketball is played, or that it is included in the choreography or the movements on stage. That is very interesting. Now, I feel like if you use something as wild and unpredictable as basketball in a play or in a musical, that there's going to be some unexpected circumstances that arise. So 무대에서 농구를 하면 돌발 상황도 많이 생길 것 같은데요.
실제로 그 처음에 약속을 했어요. 관객들이 입장할 때
네.
객석으로 농구공이 튀면 바로 다시 올려 보내줘라.
예.
그 약속을 했기 때문에 관객분들이 이제 공을 받아서 실제로 무대 위로 올려주기도 하고
예.
공이 이제 골대가 그렇게 높지 않은데
네.
공이 들어갈 때도 있고 안 들어갈 때도 있어요. 그래서
그쵸.
공이 들어갈 때는 2대4, 공이 안 들어가면 2대4 이렇게 대사를
진짜요?
네,
A,
그렇게
B 이렇게?
네, 나눈 적도 있습니다.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Haerim says that, of course, there's many unexpected things that pop up when you're doing a play with something as unexpected as basketball, and that's that when people come in to watch this particular musical, they are told that if the ball flies into the audience and you guys catch it, please pass it back to the actors on stage. Now, something even more fascinating is that, with basketball, you can never be 100% sure. So sometimes the ball goes in the net, sometimes it doesn't go in the net. So the really unique thing is that here, the script changes depending on if the ball goes into the net or if it doesn't go into the net. So that's particularly interesting, very unique, very 특이해요, So this basketball is famous all around the world, of course. So, it's a global sport. So I heard that this musical also was played or performed overseas as well. 이 작품 해외에서도 공연이 됐다고 들었는데요.
네, 2024년에 이제 일본에서 공연이 됐고요. 뭐 전 회차가 다 매진된 것으로 알고 있습니다.
Wow. Okay. Well, 일단 먼저 축하드립니다. That is really, really great news because Haerim said that this was performed in 2024 in Japan and that every single day and performance that was, that they performed, they were all sold out. So it was a very successful performance, as you can see here. Wow, I'm loving the stage too. 와, 세트도 와, 진짜 너무 멋있어요. It looks really cool. All right, so time is flying by, of course. So, as a writer, you have a lot of responsibilities and you're going to be very busy, when you're writing. So I wanted to ask what your essential item was and to please show your essential item to the camera. So 작가님이 애착 업무템도 적어주셨잖아요. 어떤 아이템인지 한번 설명해 주세요.
이게 제가 자주 사용하는 연필인데요. 뒤에 이제 지우개도 달려있는 그런 연필입니다.
Okay, so Haerim is of course saying that the item that you are using is a pencil that also has an eraser on it. Now, this is very interesting. So, it's not a pen, but a pencil, and it even has an eraser. So I'd imagine that you probably do a lot of fixing on scripts and stuff like that. So 볼펜도 아니고 연필이에요. 지우개까지 다 있는데 자주 수정하시는 거죠?
사실은 이게 이제 제가 데뷔할 때부터 사용했는데 이 브랜드만 계속 이제 사용하게 되는 것 같아요. 이게 그 뮤지컬의 이제 아버지라고 불리는 쏜드하임이 이제 이 연필을 자주 사용했다. 이게 이제 많은 문학인들의 연필이다 이렇게 듣고 그러면 나는 저걸 써야겠다. 그래서 그때부터 사용하게 되는 그 애착템인데 사실 이렇게 좀 마음이 좀 편해지기도 하고 이걸 들고 있으면. 네.
Okay. So Haerim said that ever since she had debuted from her debut production that this has been the pencil that she has used because she had heard when she was younger that this is one of the pencils that everybody uses and that a lot of successful people use this. So you're very comfortable in the heart when you use this. So it's a little bit of a, I would say like a good luck charm maybe. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a jinx, I guess you could say. Yeah. So, all right. We are with today the musical writer Park Haerim, and we are talking all about K-musicals here on Worky Talkie. Now, we're going to be right back for more interviewing right after taking a listen to our listener's guide. Catch Culture Crunch on Arirang Radio at 11 a.m. KST every day. You can listen to our show via the Arirang Radio application, which you can download from your app store, or watch the program on Arirang TV. If you're in the Jeju area, tune in to 88.7 in Jeju City, 88.1 in Seogwipo City, or 101.9 in the Daejeong area. If you're in Busan, you can listen from BEFM 90.5, and in the Kijang, Noksan, Jeongwan areas, tune in to 103.3. You can also join us on our YouTube live stream. The channel is Arirang Radio K-pop. And if you miss any of these, don't worry. You can catch the radio rerun at 2 a.m. KST every day. Don't forget, there are exclusive episodes on Saturday and Sunday at 11 a.m. KST only on Arirang Radio. Head to the Culture Crunch Send Messages board on the Arirang Radio website or email us at culturecruncharirang@gmail.com to send us your song requests and messages. All right, you guys are listening to and watching Culture Crunch here on Arirang Radio and TV. This is Worky Talkie. This month we're talking about K-musicals, and we have an awesome guest, Park Haerim, who fills the stage with narratives as a playwright. So I'm very curious, though, you as a writer, what your MBTI is, because, lots of writers tend to be very creative. So 혹시 MBTI가 어떻게 되시나요?
제 MBTI는 ENTP입니다.
Oh, okay. So Haerim said that she is an ENTP. Now, ENTPs are very much known for being debaters. They're known to be very decisive with their work. Do you find yourself to be that sort of creator as well? 논쟁을 즐기는 편이잖아요, ENFP. 혹시 작가님도 그런 편이신가요?
아니요. 그 작업할 때 논쟁은 별로 좋아하지 않고요. 그냥 서로 잘 협조하는 방향을 생각하는 것 같고, 다만 이제 글을 쓸 때 좀 너무 감정에 치우치지 않고 구조적으로 좀 접근을 하려고 노력하는 편이에요.
Oh, okay. So Haerim said, of course, that she is not that type of person, not that type of playwright, and that she doesn't like to be confrontational with other people that she's working with. But when it comes to her writing, with her emotions, she seems to include, some restraint in that, but also not so much that it limits her creativity. so that, you know, even when you're walking around, when you're just doing daily activities or you're just, you know, living your life aside from, you know, being a playwright, that do you ever think of like lines or scenarios in your head just randomly? So like 뭐 작업을 하다 보면 직업병 같은 거 좀 생기진 않나요?
직업병이랄 건 없고 다만 이제 영화나 다른 매체의 이야기를 볼 때 이제 시간을 확인하는 습관이 있는데요. 그러니까 이제 요즘에 기승전결이 대충 끝났나? 뭐 이런 그런 체감하게 되는 걸 자꾸 확인하게 되는 습관이 있습니다.
Okay. So Harim said that she has not so much an occupational disease as something more like, you know, little habits that you picked up, you know, working like in this field. Is that, you know, always looking at the time. Like you're watching a movie, for example, you're always checking the time to see what the time is, seeing if it's done, you're always aware of your surroundings, including the time. Now, I'm wondering, is that because, you know, musicals are very time sensitive? 그 뮤지컬은 좀 시간은 엄청 중요해서 그러신 거예요?
아무래도 이제 1, 2막이 다 1시간 안에 떨어져야 한다거나 이제 뭐 그런 규칙들이 또 있어서. 네.
Okay. So I asked if, you know, it was because musicals you have to very much pay attention to the time in musicals. He says yes, because every hour there's certain rules that you have to follow when it comes to musical production. So you are a very talented musical playwright, but what I found really fascinating was that you actually majored in directing, not writing, but directing. So 작가님 원래는 연출 전공이셨다고 들었는데요.
모두가 이제 전공대로 직업을 선택할 수 있는 건 아니니까.
그렇죠.
네, 제가 졸업했을 때는 제가 연출을 할 수 있는 기회들이 별로 없었어요. 그래서 기회가 없어서 내가 할 수 있는 것들을 하자. 그래서 집에서 이제 글을 좀 쓰기 시작했던 것이 이제 이렇게 되었습니다.
Okay. So Harim said that after graduating with a directing major, that, you know, of course you wanted to kind of go for directing, but there wasn't a lot of directing work at the time. So you ended up trying writing. Just do what you can. So you tried writing, and it seemed to work out pretty well, to be honest. 너무 잘 됐잖아요. So, you know, that being said, within the category of writing, there are many different things. There's movies and dramas and, you know, musicals and, you know, plays. There's so many different things. But you chose musicals. So why exactly is it that you chose musicals? 뭐 영화나 드라마, 뭐 연극, 또 뮤지컬까지 다 있는데 그 중에 뮤지컬을 하게 된 이유가 따로 있나요?
일단 대본을 쓸 때 이제 저 혼자만 쓰는 것이 아니라 이제 작곡가와 같이 드라마타이즈를 할 수 있다는 게 좀 힘이 되는 지점이었던 것 같아요.
Okay. So Harim said that, you know, obviously when you're writing these scripts for like a musical, right, is that you're not always alone, and you always have the opportunity to bounce off of other creatives, and that kind of gave you a lot of comfort, and it gave you some confidence to kind of proceed with this. Now, looking at all of your works, your main characters tend to be non-mainstream or socially disadvantaged people. So I'm wondering if there's an intention for that. So 주인공이 비주류인 경우가 많잖아요. 어떤 의도가 있으실까요?
사실 어떤 의도로 시작했다기보다는 제가 더 많이 그런 캐릭터에 감정이입을 하게 되는 것 같아요. 그래서
okay.
그 캐릭터가 뭔가를 하나 성공하게 됐다거나 이제 자신의 자리를 끊임없이 지켜나가는 어떤 그런 행위를 되게 대단하고
네.
박수치고 싶은 그런 마음이
그쵸.
안에 있었던 것 같아요. 그래서 네.
Okay. So Harim said that when it comes to writing characters that tend to be a little bit of an underdog, they're a little bit disadvantaged or, you know, unconventional with, you know, success or something like that, that you, when writing these characters, you know, you kind of feel a sense of happiness, a sense of, you want to clap for them. Like you feel good for them doing something well or for them succeeding. So you like that feeling and you like the audience to feel it as well, which is why you write these sorts of characters. Now, that being said, creating these characters, there's, you know, a lot going into writing a deep character. So how do you usually start with a character? So 작가님은 이 인물들을 만들 때 보통 어디서부터 시작하시는 건가요?
어떤 인물의 특징을 잡을 때 그 캐릭터의 두려움에 대해서 생각을 하게 되는 것 같아요. 그러니까 대부분은 뭘 원한다고 생각을 할 텐데
예, 예.
사실 우리는 내가 뭘 원하는지 잘 모를 때가 많잖아요.
그렇죠.
대신 두려운 건 되게 즉각적인 거여서 어떤 캐릭터가 뭘 두려워하냐 그 두려움을 알면 그것이 이제 그 사람의 트라우마랄지
예.
갈등이랄지 그 다음에 또 그거에서 해당하는 욕망 같은 것들을 또 알 수 있게 되는 것 같아요. 그래서 두려움을 제일 먼저 생각을 해요.
Oh wow, okay. Well, that's really introspective, actually. So Hedim said that when writing any of the characters, you would think that writers would usually start with something that they want. Something that they're hopeful for. But that's not always that easy because, there's a lot of times that just regular people like you and I or anybody, we don't know what we want. We don't know which direction we want to go to. But when it comes to your fears, that's something that everyone knows what they're scared of. So if you start writing from someone's fears, then you can easily branch out and create the rest of the character. 근데 맞는 것 같네요. 생각해보니까. It seems like that's true now that I think about it. Okay, so your performances are very much well known for not having a lot of stage direction in them, but I'm a little curious about the reasoning behind that. 또 작가님의 대본에 지문이 거의 없는 스타일로 유명하시잖아요. 근데 그 이유는 궁금하네요.
그 지문이라는 게 이제 행동을 어떻게 해라라는 그 표식인데 이제 연출이나 디자이너들이 이 대본 안에 좀 갇힐까봐 지웠던 건데 지금은 그렇지 않습니다. 지금은 그냥 잘 써주고 같이 잘 얘기하려고 하는 편이고 네, 그렇습니다.
Okay, so Hedim said that what she says by when she means that is that when she before she doesn't do this now, but when she started and she was like in the earlier days is that you wouldn't always like kind of put super intense, very detailed instructions on everything that an actor needs to do, or for a scenario included. But now you tend to do that a lot more, so it makes for a more seamless production experience. So you've written a lot, and you seem to be a very deep and introspective person, as of course you are a writer. And out of everything that you've ever written, is there anything in particular that you really kind of just find yourself attracted to in terms of script, in terms of a line, or something in your plays that you've written that you really, really like? 가장 애착하는 대사가 있다면요?
저도 잘 몰랐는데 제 작품 중에 한 두세 번 반복한 문장이 있더라고요. 특히 이제 최근에 그 했던 작품들에서 주로 이제 그런 경향들이 있는데 그렇게 되면 어떻고 또 그렇지 않으면 또 어떠냐 뭐 이런 류의 대사를 주인공에게 이렇게 하더라고요.
Okay, so Hedim said that originally you didn't really have one that you really gravitated towards so much, but in the most recent production that you have been doing, which we are going to talk about, is that kind of had a whatever happens, it's going to happen. It's kind of hard to translate into English, but it's kind of whatever happens. It's kind of like that. So that being said, you did bring up your most recent performance, something that you have been working on and is currently ongoing, actually. So what kind of work is it? So 지금 한창 공연 중인 작품인데요. 작가님이 출연한 The First Great Show, 어떤 작품인가요?
출연은 안 했고요.
출연. 참여.
제가 쓴 작품인데요. 한국 최초의 뮤지컬을 코믹하게 다룬 작품입니다.
Oh wow, okay.
뮤지컬 제작기죠.
Musical, okay. So this is the story. Hedim is saying that this is the story of the production of the first ever, musical in Korea, which is really interesting because we're now in the year 2025, and this is just now coming up. It's the beginning of K-musical, the story of the beginning of K-musicals, but why now to tell the story? 왜 지금 The First Great Show였을까요?
이제 한국의 뮤지컬이 굉장히 많이 성장을 해서 이제 이 뮤지컬이 어떻게 시작하게 되었을까 같은 것들을 좀 얘기할 필요가 있다 이런 생각이 좀 들었고 사실 그 첫 시작이 막 그렇게 우왕좌왕하고 좌충우돌하는 여러 가지 에피소드들로 이루어져 있는데 이제 그것으로부터 지금의 뮤지컬이 나올 수 있었다.
그쵸?
이런 그 첫 시도에 대해서 얘기하고 싶었던 것 같아요.
Oh, okay. So Haerim said, and this is a very good idea, that, K musicals, as we have mentioned many times, is that they've been blowing up. They've been gaining a lot of attention, not just in Korea, but overseas as well. And that you thought that maybe the exploring the story of how musicals came to be, because as you said, without those experiences, those first movements of musicals back in the day, a long time ago, we wouldn't have the musicals we have today. So that's kind of something that you really wanted to explore, the history of K musicals and how the musicals we have today, they came from this, essentially. Okay, so when people watch this, what exactly is it that you want them to feel? What exactly is it that you want them to take away from this experience? So 이 작품 어떤 마음으로 봐주셨으면 좋겠어요?
우리 모두에게는 다 어떤 처음 시도할 때의 마음이 있는 것 같아요. 그러니까 그 처음 시도하는 사람들의 이야기에 대해서 좀 귀엽게 봐주시고, 그리고 그것이 얼마나 위대한 도전이었는가에 대해서 또 생각해 주시면 좋겠다. 그게 아마 이제 여러분들도 마찬가지고
네.
네, 그런 마음으로 네, 많이 보러 와주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
Okay, so Haerim said that, when coming to watch the first great show, there's many different things to kind of think about and remember. One of them is to reflect deeply on, the people that came before us, I guess you could say, the seniors, the people, the stepping stones that came to where we are today, and that you hope that people will, of course, also enjoy the musical as well. Remembering the past is very important, and paying homage and remembering the people that came before us, certainly something very important. So we also, Korea, like I said, K musicals have been blowing up all over. Korean culture, everything has been blowing up all over. And I'm sure there are tons and tons of people who want to, get into the world of musical playwright, getting into the world of playwriting. Do you have any advice for people that maybe want to come into the industry that you have found success in? 먼저 시작한 선배로서 어떤 조언을 해주고 싶으신가요?
사실 저도 처음에 이제 시를 가지고 뮤지컬을 쓴다고 했을 때
네.
모두가 다 말도 안 된다, 불가능하다, 아무도 좋아하지 않을 거다, 뭐 이렇게 얘기했던 어떤 환경들이 있었던 것 같거든요. 근데 모든 첫 시작들이 다 그랬던 것 같아요. 사실 이 첫 뮤지컬 이라는 것도 아마 그때 당시에 그랬을 거고, 뭐 여러분들이 시작하는 어떤 첫 시도들은 사실 그런 환경 속에서 시작할 텐데, 그럼에도 불구하고 도전해 보셔라, 뭐 이런 얘기들을
그쵸.
하고 싶습니다.
그렇죠. 한번 도전 안 하면 모르죠. 어떻게 될지. Right. So Haerim said that advice for people in the younger generations, people that want to, get into the world of playwriting is that, the beginning is always hard. It's always going to be, you're going to doubt yourself, and it's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be like, oh, this isn't it. No, I can't do this. Like, you're going to think that, but you really have to take the leap and challenge yourself. You really got to challenge yourself. Otherwise, you'll never know what happens. Okay, so that is very good advice, not just for a playwright, but for anything, I guess you could say. So here's our official question of Worky Talkie, and that is that if you could turn your life into a drama title, what would it be? 워키타키의 공식 질문입니다. 네, 지금까지 걸어오신 뮤지컬 인생을 드라마 제목으로 붙인다면 어떤 제목을 붙이고 싶으신가요?
이제 그 질문에 대답을 좀 고민했는데,
네.
지금은 수정 중입니다.
지금은 수정 중입니다. Of course, Haerim said that fixing in progress is basically what you would want your life to be if it were a drama. But why exactly did you choose this to be the title that you wanted to reference? 왜 이렇게 지으셨나요?
사실 뮤지컬이라는 장르가 저 혼자만 할 수 있는 장르는 또 아니어서 실제로 공연이 올라가기 바로 직전까지 수정이 되는 경우들도 많고요.
네.
그래서 그렇기도 하거니와 또 수정이 된다는 건 계속 제가 발전하고 있다는 뜻이니까 그런 의미로 지었습니다.
Okay. So Haerim said that we're working as a playwright, that you're always kind of, you're always sort of working on the script. There's been instances where you also go into, right before the play starts, right before you got the play going up, you got instances where you're always kind of working on the play. So you're always fixing in progress. You're always, 수정 중입니다. It's a playwright's job never stops. All right, so we are going to take a quick listen to a song before we continue on with our interview. This is Fix Me by Jeokjae, and I will be right back.
전할 수 있을까 너에게 코끝에 스친 너의 향기에 취해 어지러워져 내 앞에 널 안을 수 있다면 세상이 내 것 같겠죠 나의 온몸이 왜 이리 떨리는지 아무 말도 못하고서 이렇게 너를 바라보고만 있어 I don't know 걱정된 내 맘 너는 알까요 내 하루 너로 가득해 그대만이 고쳐주겠죠 커져가는 내 마음을 붙잡아줘 I don't know what to do Fix my broken heart baby Eyes on you and I can't breathe 내 몸이 고장나버린 걸까요 It's so beautiful to me Fix my heart, fix my heart, fix my eyes on you and I can't breathe 내 몸이 고장나버린 걸까요 It's so beautiful to me Fix my heart, fix my, you fix my heart broken heart
All right, everybody, you guys are watching to and listening Culture Crunch here on Arirang Radio and TV. Today we are talking K-musicals for Worky Talkie, and we have the fabulous playwright Park Hae-rim, with us in the studio today. Now, I do have another question that I want to ask because you've tried so many different things. You've tried basketball, you've tried old school Korean poetry, you've done many different things. But is there anything that you want to try to do, different? Any new ideas? 많은 장르 좀 해보셨는데요. 요즘 혹시 도전해보고 싶은 장르나 뭐 새로운 아이디어가 있으신가요?
아직 새로운 아이디어랄 것까진 아닌데요. 그 관객이 극장으로 오는 거는 되게 어려운 일이거든요. 그러니까 요새는 OTT도 많고 그러니까
그렇죠.
집에서 리모컨만 누르면 사실 굉장히 좋은 컨텐츠들이 많은데 이제 극장으로 오게 할 수 있는 힘은 어디에 있을까 이런 고민들을 좀 하게 돼서 요새는 이머시브 시어터 같은 것들에 좀 관심을 가지고 있고 또 관객과 같이 직접 소통하는 재미를 좀 드릴 수 있는 방법에 대해서 좀 생각하고 있습니다.
Oh, wow. Okay, that is very interesting. So, Hae-rim said that, of course, these days, OTT platforms, streaming platforms, they've all become so easy, and it's been so easy to kind of, watch things, so that you kind of want to work towards something that's more immersive when it comes to musicals and plays, because, then maybe bring people into the theaters, All right, so I do want to thank you so much for coming in to join us today. It was a really fascinating interview and it was a lot of fun. Today, yes, we did talk K-musicals here with musical writer Park Hae-rim here in the studio, the playwright Park Hae-rim here in the studio. We had a chance to look at the creative process from the beginning until the end, the unfolding of a musical process. So I do want to say thank you so much for joining us. 소감은 어떠세요? How was it coming out on Culture Crunch?
사실 너무 좀 떨렸었는데 또 즐겁게 진행해 주셔서 재밌는 시간이었고요. 아마 들으시는 청취자분들에게도 좀 즐거운 시간이었으면 되길 바라는 마음이 있습니다. 감사합니다.
Okay, thank you so much. Hae-rim did say thank you so much for making it so comfortable for her and that she really loosened up a lot and had a great time here on Culture Crunch getting to share her job. So we are going to be sending off Hae-rim with a song and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. This is Drive by Mian and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
빛을 잃어가는 마음과 달리 채워지는 도시의 별은 하나둘씩 늘어가고 자리 찾아가는 퍼즐처럼 맞춰지는 세상 속을 벗어나고만 싶어 날 향한 시선을 감추기만 했던 맘의 목소리를 소리내 외치면 스치는 바람을 따라 또다시 가벼워진 마음은 매일 나를 깨우게 해 좁은 세상을 등지고 이 도시를 달려봐 내 맘 가는 대로 가로질러 가볼래 날 위해 그곳이 어디든 날개를 펼치고 I'm flying 저 쏟아지는 펼쳐진 길 위로 내 모든 걸 던져 Run, run, run higher Fly, fly, fly higher I'm flying myself 다시 빛나는 나를 봐 Run, run higher Fly, 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 fly higher 이 어둠 속 눈을 감고 다시 꿈을 꿔 길을 잃어버린 두 눈과 달리 선명해진 내 안의 꿈은 조금씩 더 커져가고 앞이 보이지 않던 까맣게 번진 어둠도 더는 두렵지 않은 걸 날 향한 시선을 감추기만 했던 맘의 목소리를 소리내 외치면 스치는 바람을 따라 또다시 가벼워진 마음은 벌컥 발을 밟게 해 좁은 세상을 등지고 이 도시를 달려봐 내 맘 가는 대로 가로질러 가볼래 날 위해 그곳이 어디든 날개를 펼치고 I'm flying 저 쏟아지는 펼쳐진 길 위로 내 모든 걸 던져 두려움은 있고 이 바람을 느껴 뒤돌아보지 말고 날 길을 믿어봐 목적지는 없어 이 핸들을 잡은 건 나니까 좁은 세상을 등지고